G'day guys, Troy here from FM Scout, and today we're going to start a brand new series where we'll be going into some of the more obscure roles, some of the roles that I don't see used too frequently. We'll be going more in depth and having a look at the player roles themselves, having a look at important attributes, maybe a couple of plays as well, and also we'll give a couple in-game examples of how they're different to their other roles and why you should choose them. But before we kick off into the video, I'd just like to invite you all over to my personal channel, FM Live. On there I've got a Charlton Let's Play and also some tips and tricks. Okay, for the first episode, we'll be talking about inverted wingbacks, and they've been out for about 2 years for Football Manager. And in the first year, they probably weren't. It wasn't the best role, and they didn't offer too much more than a wingback role. But in this year, after I think it was the first patch came through, they'll change massively, and it just came through that it said inverted wingbacks have been fixed. Okay, so let's first start off with the description. So the description for the inverted wingback is it will function defensively much like a standard fullback or wingback. However, while a normal wingback will offer width on the attack, the inverted wingback will attempt to drift inside and create space for players around him. Supporting attacks by providing crosses is not the priority for this role. Instead, the inverted wingback will look to carry the ball and congest play in the middle as much as possible. The inverted wingback is only available with the support duty. Now, having trialed an inverted wingback in my Man United save, to be honest, before I decided to make this video, I haven't really used an inverted wingback because I just remember back in FM16, it was just nothing. It did the same thing as a wingback, probably a bit more like an inside forward. When it was up in the final third, it would actually cut inside with the ball. But this year, it's a lot different, and it does create a lot of space in the middle. And you'll see this. I'll show you some gameplay a bit later on the video, but you'll see exactly what I mean. And you just got to set up your tactic right to get the best out of him, but it's a fantastic role if you get it right. So let's have a look at the important attributes and what a player needs to succeed in whatever tactic you have. So the important attributes of the technical side of things is tackling, passing, marking, and also dribbling. Dribbling, not so much when I did play with it. I noticed he doesn't dribble with the ball too much. He does look for the pass, but more looks, as it says in the description, to look for space. But that tackling, passing, and marking does need to be good. Remember, he's still a fullback or a wingback, so he does need good marking, good pass, good tackling as well, and then obviously passing, because he's going to get the ball a lot more now that he's coming inside the play. Over to the mental side of things, and what we need is good anticipation, good concentration, decisions, determination, off the ball, positioning, and teamwork. Now, I think the key mental attributes you do need is the high work rate, good positioning, because positioning, he needs to know where to set himself up. He needs to also track back if there is a counter attack or if we get the ball taken off us. So he does need that. The decisions as well. He does need to know when to push forward, when to push all the way into the 18-yard box. Now over to the physicals, he needs acceleration, pace, and stamina. Now acceleration and stamina is going to be key in this role. He does need to track back fairly fast, or very fast to be honest, and he does need to do it all day, so that's why the stamina comes into play. Moving on to the play instructions and what is the preset play instructions. I haven't changed anything here. There are a fair few to go through. So to sit narrow, roam from position, cut inside with the ball, cross less often, dribble more, more risky passes, and that's about it. The close down over here, the slide will actually change it depending on what you've got set for your team instructions. Now for the other play instructions I would put on him is probably just shoot less often. Look, let's be honest, well, it is when I played Sunday League football, the guys that were left back or right back were the worst in the side, and they probably can't shoot. Sorry if I'm offended any class left and right backs, but it is what it is, and a player to play in an inverted wingback role needs to be technically very good. I wouldn't choose get further forward because he does need the track back, unless his acceleration is up at about 20 and his stamina is at 20 as well. Yeah, I would leave that untick. For the rest, that's really up to you. When setting up a tactic for an inverted wingback, you want to make sure you know what space he's going to occupy when it comes to the attacking third. So for Damian here on the left-hand side, he's going to be pushing into about this area when we have the ball and when we're up in their half. So what you want to make sure of is Fusu Mensah here on the left-hand side of the centre mids. He's actually pushed far enough to not get in the way and not play the same kind of role as Damian. So if you want to have an instruction on him to push him a little bit further forward, you can do that. If you were to have have Carrick, or if you have a deep lying playmaker on this side, I would recommend probably switching that over to the right hand side so they just don't get in each other's way. And when Fusu-Mensah is up on this kind of role, and then it will put Damian in there for an inverted wingback, he'll put him in there right next to Carrick, so they'll have two kind of deep lying playmakers and also a late runner into the box with Damian. The other thing you want to have a look at with space is your winger up top here. So if he is an inside forward, there is an opportunity for them to kind of butt heads and meet. Not all too often, because normally the inside forward is there pretty early, is in the box pretty early on. But you might want to have a look at that, switch that onto a winger role if you can. Okay, so now let's have a look at some in-game examples. For this match here, we won that 2-0, and I've got Luke Shaw as the inverted wingback. If we have a look at his attributes, he's actually pretty good. He's actually very good. Acceleration 17, he's got some good pace as well. Stamina at 15, which is very, very good. All the other attributes there, so you're passing at 13, which is good as well. Positioning, all this probably does need to move up a little bit, but it's good for now. A young boy, he's going to grow. So yeah, some good attributes for an inverted wingback. One thing I do want to mention, he's left-footed only. I don't really think you need to be right-footed to play on the left-hand side for an inverted wingback. I don't think it really matters. There's not too many shots that you're going to get off. It's mainly being another player in the box, another body there, and another person to pass to. So I don't really think you need to be what the perceived idea was for that. That inverted winger. You have to be the opposite-sided foot. Okay, start off here. It's probably a good example. When we're in defense, so we're going to concentrate on Shaw. When we're in defense, is very similar to a fullback, which is the main role. When we're pushing forward, now we're on the counter, I just want to see what he does. So he's pushing all the way forward. He's pushing on the inside. He waits off for the ball. His positioning is pretty good, waiting for a pass to come his way. Doesn't get there, but he rushes right back to get into that fullback role when they're on the counter. When we're pushing back up, he's right back in there, right into the box, which is good to see. So he's got to have that awareness of when to rush back, when to push into the box, and when to stay for that deep pass. Okay, another little highlight here. Just watch what Shaw does when Wilson loses the ball just in here, and what he actually does, he tracks all the way back. So instead of rushing the play, because he's got a pretty decent high work rate, and he's down there for pretty much closing down all the time. So he doesn't care. He rushes all the way back into his role. So that's good to see. That's when you lose the ball back in the attacking third, that he's still going to rush back to make sure he's in that position of a fullback or a wingback, because that can leave holes there. That's one of the main things I was worried about before picking up and choosing to run with an inverted wingback is we're going to be left vulnerable down on the wing or down on the right back or left back role. In this case, from what I can see, yeah, it's just not the case. Another highlight I'll show you, watch the ball will get pushed into the middle, and if we watch Shaw and what he's doing here, so Herrera gets the ball, he's got plenty of space, and because Shaw is up in that line, the number 14 doesn't push off to Mark Herrera or doesn't choose to go and close him down. He lets him go because he has no other option. He's got Shaw there. Play goes on, he will actually create a little bit more space, passes to Wilson, and then we get the goal. Okay, that's it from the example. Sorry, I did have some more examples, and I did have a match where the middle of the park was just congested, so there was a lot of players in there. I think we had 3 midfielders there occupying the space, and what actually happened for the inverted wingback, he didn't choose to come inside, he actually chose to go out wide, and that was the point where I had 2 inside, inverted wingbacks playing, and it was interesting how they chose their space, because they both chose out to stay out wide and not to come in the middle because it was congested. So that's that instruction or description that we saw earlier on in the video that says the player is looking to occupy space and to make space for his teammates. So I wanted to show you some players that will fit the bill for an inverted wingback, and what I did was set up a scouting assignment, and I went to scout just inverted wingbacks. But unfortunately, there were no right or left backs that had that as their main role for a fullback. So here's a list of players that I've just picked for the attribute of wingback. So what I did was pick and then went over to just inverted wingback. And that's all the attributes there. I had to knock it down a couple pegs down to 13. And this is what we got. So the list of 40 players, I just sorted it by value. As you can see, a lot of the players are not actually wingbacks or fullbacks per se. A couple of guys that stand out, Klein, which would be a pretty good shout. So if we have a look at him for an inverted wingback, he's got very good tackling. Dribbling is okay. Very good pace. pace, got some decent stamina there as well. He's got some decent mental attributes that will go hand in hand. So there is a fair few players that you can kind of pick up that you could probably retrain for an inverted wingback. Just make sure that they have those key attributes that we did talk about at the start of the video. Another guy, and probably the best on the game, Denny, I'm not entirely sure, Denny Carvajal. I think that's how you say it. Look, good physicals, good accelerations, got good stamina. He's technically very good as well, and mentally he is amazing. Once again, he's not pulled down as an inverted wingback, but you can retrain him, and I think he will be a damn good one. He will impact more on your side as well. You can retrain him if you want. He's right footed. You can retrain him on the left as well, and I think you do a good job. So I think he'd probably be the best in the game. Look, it's in the game, I'm talking about, not in real life. I know there are a couple of players that play that role in real life, but I'm just talking about game attributes themselves and just what I've got from my scouting. I'm sure there's a lot of other players, but that's for you to decide. That's for you to go out looking for those players, and maybe you hold different attributes in a higher regard than me. Okay, last thing I wanted to add is don't be shy to train a younger player to play in a different position or role. So for Timothy Fusu-Mensah, as you can see, he's got all the attributes there that will make a pretty good inverted wingback. If I don't think that I'm going to use him in the middle of the park at all, maybe there's a couple of players that are in front of him, or they're a little bit better, or maybe I don't play with this kind of player in the middle of the park there. Maybe I can change him up to an inverted wingback, but he's got all the attributes there to start him off, and then we could just have to work on a couple key areas there, so stamina, his dribbling and stuff like that, and I think he could grow into a good inverted wingback. Okay guys, I'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave a like on the video. It always helps us out. And as always, please go over to my channel, check it out, subscribe if you like what you see. And also, if you could, please leave a comment down in the comments below what you want to see up next. We're doing kind of the obscure player roles. Just let us know what you want us to do next, and we'll try to get that video out next week for you. Alright guys, that's it for me, and I'll see you next time.